In this video, I'll show you how to integrate a lakehouse within Fabric Workspace in Power Pages site. Now, I'm in make.powerpages.microsoft.com. So this is a Power Pages Design Studio. So now if you navigate to data, then you can basically see all the tables which are getting used within the site. Okay. Now there are multiple ways to create a table. You can add a new table. You can search for the table within this directory, or you can get the table from an external data. Now, when I say get a new table from external data, that means the data is residing somewhere within your, say, Lakehouse or data warehouse or any other external data source. Now, how do you extract this information from an external system and bring it back into Power Pages so that you can reference the information? Now, in order to understand that, first we need to understand what a data lake is. So, from a Power BI perspective, I'll just go through a very high level. So, data lake is basically a centralized repository designed to store, process, and secure large amounts of data. It's basically an open format. It stores both structured and unstructured data. So, data lake is for unified data access, and you can store any number of or different types of information within the data lake, and it is basically a high durable and low cost data source. Now, from a data lake, there is a concept called as Lakehouse. So, Lakehouse is basically addresses the challenges which is provided by data lake. So, Lakehouse is again a challenge. Lakehouse allows you to add a transaction storage layer on top of the data lake. So it's in the form of a delta lake. So delta lake is basically used to build a lake house, and delta lake is an open format data management and governance layer that combines best of data lakes and data warehouse. Now I've covered this in a separate video when I was explaining about lake house and Azure data lake. Now the whole goal is to basically connect this to a Power BI workspace. So Power BI workspace. So in Power BI, I have this app.powerbi.com, and then I've already created a PP workspace for Power Pages. This is a Fabric content, and I have created various lake houses over here. So this is a November lake house. So November lake house, basically, if I navigate to this lake house, I've already imported a file which is in the form of CSV, and then I've created a table. So I've created a separate video for that. You can go ahead and watch it. Now the goal of this engagement is basically to query this record set from the Power BI workspace. Now this is a lakehouse, so I want to ingest this information, this lakehouse information, in the Power Pages site. So how do I go and extract this information? Now there are a couple of things to uh, keep in mind. Now I'll pick up any other random Power Pages site. Now here, if I go to table, and if I go to new table from external data, first, I need to establish a connection. Now, this connection is basically allows you to connect SharePoint, SQL Server, Fabric, Snowflake, Salesforce, Oracle database. I'll click on Microsoft Fabric. Now, if I click on next over here, it will start establishing that connection within your tenant. So it will start looking into the tenant, and then it will check what other Fabric workspace are available. Now, of late, you might encounter these kind of errors. Could not find any workspace in Fabric. Okay. Now, why this has happened is this is not like a systemic error, but then the issue with this is you need to understand one thing, that first identify in the Power Pages like where this Power Page is located. Now this one, so let me exit out of it. This is a Girish Preview US environment. Now if I go into the backend and look into Girish Preview US environment, as you see over here, this environment is located in United States. Okay. Now make sure that your Power BI service is also located in the United States location. If that is the case, then you will not get that error. But in our case, we have got this error. Now, for that, we cannot use this Girish Preview US. We have to use Girish Prod. Now, why Girish Prod? Because Girish Prod is located in the Asia region. Okay. Now, my Power BI is located in Asia region. Now, how to identify where your Power BI is located? You go into app.powerbi.com, and then there is a button called as help and support. So question mark over here, click on that and click on about Power BI. From there, you will exactly come to know where your tenant is located. Now, my tenant is located in Southeast Asia, Singapore. Okay, so that means I can use only the Power Pages site, which is in Asia location. Now, having said that, what we need to do, you need to go into that specific site. And now, if you click on table, new table from external data source, connection, click on Microsoft Fabric, click on next. Now from this point onward, you should be able to see all the Fabric workspace which you have created for that specific tenant. Now here, as you see that I have two Fabric workspace, PP workspace and Fabric workspace. Now if I go into Power BI, if I go to workspaces, anything which has a diamond in it is a Fabric content. So I have this PP workspace and have this Fabric workspace. So rest all is not a Fabric workspace, they are just a simple workspace. Now that's why you see the Fabric workspace. So this time I'll select PP workspace and the Fabric Lakehouse is named as November. So I'll pick up November Lakehouse. So if you have already provisioned your Fabric workspace and the Fabric Lakehouse, select that. And once that connection is established, it will start getting in the information in the Power Pages side. So I'll click on next and it will then tell me how many tables exist within that Fabric workspace. So I have this Brisbane underscore store. So I'm going to pick that and I'll say configure table and column names that will be used in Dataverse. So it will start bringing those information from the Fabric workspace into the Dataverse. Now it won't bring the data, but then it will just map the schematics. Now I can pick up whatever display name I want. I'll just say Brisbane stores as a display name. I can put the schema name. I can pick up the primary key. So I can change either sales or profit margin sales because that's a numeric value. And then I can select the display name, the order date. So let me change something over here. Let me call this a ship date and this is as the order date. So I can go ahead and make those changes, but I'm not going to make those changes now. But you can go ahead and make those changes, and then once all things are done, you just click on next. And then now it will say it will bring the external data from Microsoft Fabric into Dataverse, and these are the corresponding display name, plural name, schema name, and so on and so forth. And we can further edit the configuration of the table. Once that's done, click on finish, and then from this point onwards, once this import is complete, you will have all the records from your Fabric workspace in Power Pages. Now remember, this won't be kind of like a manual import of the record, but then you will see it's all connected. So if any change is made within the Fabric workspace, it will be reflected over here. And we have got this table now. Now once you get this table, it is very simple. What you can do, you can create a new page and I'll call it as Brisbane. I'll click on add, go to the list, and then I will select the new list. Now new list over here, we need to first select a table. So the table name is Brisbane stores. You select the data views. Now remember, when you come over here, you do not have the data views. So that means first thing what you need to do is go back to this table, Brisbane stores. Now as you see over here, this table has a different icon which says that this is an external data. You go into the views, you create a new views, or you can pick up all Brisbane stores views over here, or you can create a new view. Let me create a new view and I'll call it as Brisbane stores, put some description, and then it will again take you to that editor to add the columns. I'll just say view column and let me add a city, let me add a country, let me add ship date, let me add subcategory, and that's it. I'll just click on save and publish. So we have created a new view named as Brisbane stores, and then this view will be persisting in the Power Pages table interface, okay, once it is published. So then we can go back to our same step. I'll go to the pages. This is the Brisbane page which we have created. Click on edit list, and now you click on new list. You say Brisbane stores, select the data views, Brisbane stores. name your list, click on done, and once that is done, you should be able to see the record over here. Now, let me sync this site and then preview in desktop. And it has thrown me an error. You do not have permission to view this record. So yes, right. So what we need to do, again, select this list, click on new permission, and then grant permission. So let me give, say, all the permissions over here, add roles, and say authenticated users. Click on save, and then sync. And once it is synced, I should be able to see all the records. Now, as you see over here, this all these records have come over here. So order ID, city, country, ship date, subcategory. Now, what it has done, it has, so just to summarize the information, we had this lake house within the Power BI or Fabric. We have created a Power Pages workspace, which is a Fabric workspace. We already had this lake house created. The lake house had the data record created by just ingesting the CSV file from an external file source. We have this table called as Brisbane underscore store. We made sure that the Power BI workspace which we had is belongs to the same locations as what this Power Pages site is hosted. So once it is connected, what we did is like it's gone to data, table from external data, and then from there we have established a connection to our Fabric workspace. Once that Fabric workspace connections is established, we selected the lake house and we selected the appropriate table. Once that table is ingested into the Power Pages, we were able to use the table within Power Pages. As you see over here, this is a linked table, so that means it is still connected to the external Fabric Lakehouse. So if there are any changes happening within this Lakehouse after a frequent interval, we should be able to get the data back. So just to show you, this is the table which is connected. Now, as you see over here, there are other options which we can do. We can export the data, we can edit in Power Apps, we can refresh the record, and then once we have already created that views within the database table, in the backend, we can go ahead and pages and then create a list, and then that list is surfaced out after giving a permission. So now we have given permission to the authenticated users, and that's why we are able to see the table within the Power Pages site. So this is how you basically connect an external data source. In this case, is a Fabric uh, Lakehouse, and we connected the Lakehouse table and then brought the data into Power Pages site. That's it, folks. Thanks for watching.